Hello everyone, myself Mr. Sandeep, and today I am present here with a new session on mathematics for class 9. In the last session, we have started our chapter 5, that is Introduction to Euclid's Geometry, and we have covered some of the axioms as well as the postulate given by the Euclids. So I have suggested you also to learn that axioms as well as the postulate on your fingertips, right? And I hope you have done that. So if not done, kindly learn that postulate as well as axiom, as they are very important for giving the answer for the questions given in the chapter. Even we have discussed about a few questions, not few, that is only for the first two questions of the exercise 5.1 also. Okay, first two questions we have done, and now it's the turn for the third question. Now the question is, so let's start for it. Consider the two postulate given below, right? So what are that postulate? The first one is, given any two distinct point A and B, there exists a third point C which is in between A and B, right? There exists a third point C which is in between A and B. So between A and B there is a third point C. Between means somewhere between, that should be on the line. Clear? In the second condition, there exist at least 3 points that are not on the same line. So they are clearly saying that the third point is not on the line of first 2 points, that is AB. Sometimes if you think about a condition, suppose 2 points are there, suppose A point is here and this is A point and this is the B point. Somewhere in between C is the point. I am not saying exactly in between, somewhere in between. So it may be here, it may be in the center, it may be here also. So if this is the C point, that is according to the first part. Okay, then come to the second part. There exist at least 3 points that are not on the same line. Means A is here, B can be there, and C can be there. So they are called as non-collinear points. Okay, so if the 3 points are on one line, they are called as collinear. If they are not on the same line, they are called as a non-collinear. So in short, we can say in first part, somehow they are talking about the collinear points in first part. In second part, they are talking about non-collinear points, right? Now, do these postulate contain any undefined term? Yes, these postulate contain two undefined terms. The first one is the point and the second one is the line. Clear? So for your knowledge, there are three things which cannot be defined. First one is the point, second one is line, and third is a plane which cannot be which cannot be defined, right? So out of the three, two are given over here. Are these postulate consistent? Yes, they are consistent as they do not refer to the similar situation. In both the part, the situation is different, so therefore they refer to the different situations. Okay, so you may write down the answer in your own wording, but wording should be somehow matching with my wording only. Okay, do they follow from Euclid's postulate? Explain. They follow the Euclid's postulate or not? So there is one postulate or axiom, you can say, regarding the two given postulate can be observed following from the axiom. So they are following somehow the axiom. Given two distinct points, right? Given two distinct point, there is a unique line that passes through them. Clear? दो पॉइंट से आपकी एक यूनिक लाइन पास हो सकती है. They are trying to follow that axiom. Clear? So this is all about question number 3. Then come to your question number 4. If a point C lies between 2 point A and B, same condition as we have discussed in the last question, such that AC is equal to BC. Now this time AC is equal to BC is given. It means C is there exactly in the center of the AB. Then prove that AC is equal to half of AB. Explain by drawing the figure. So this is the question. So let's solve it here. So given that C lies in between A and B such that AC is equal to BC, AC is equal to BC, that is given to you in the figure also. So what we are going to do, we are adding AC on the both side. AC plus AC will give you 2AC, that will equal to BC plus AC. And what you are getting after adding AC to BC, you will get here AB according to the figure. Then 2 will be shifted downwards, and finally you will get AC is equal to half of AB. So that is the proof of the question. Clear? It's very simple. So then come to the question number 5. In the above question, point C is called a midpoint. You know, it is given that AC is equal to BC, then we can say C is the midpoint. Prove that every line segment has one and only one midpoint. Okay, one line segment will be having one and one midpoint, that is C. ओके, अगर आप बोलें कि एक लाइन सेगमेंट का पी भी मिड पॉइंट है, सी भी मिड पॉइंट है, आगे जाके क्यू भी हो जाएगा, सो दैट इज नॉट पॉसिबल. Practically that is not possible. Okay, so this can be done by your activity also. So you can hold a piece of that paper in your hand, paper strip. Okay, just fold it from the center, you will get one point, and then mark it from the fold. Okay, then try to fold it from another point, and just see the two parts are overlapping each other or not. No, they will not overlap each other, except only in the one condition, when it will be folded from the center of the strip. So it means that is there is only one and one midpoint. Okay, but theoretically let us see how to prove it. So we have, suppose here, let us assume P is another midpoint of AB. So let us suppose P is another midpoint of AB. Then according to the midpoint, what should be there? AP should be equal to PB. So give it equation number 1. But C is the given to be the midpoint of AB. So according to the question, C is the midpoint of AB. Then AC should be equal to BC. Give it equation number 2. So now what we need to do? Subtract equation number 1 from 2. This minus this. So you will write down AC minus AP is equal to BC minus PB, right? So what is AC minus AP? Look at the figure. AC minus AP will give you PC or CP. Both are the same thing, you may write down. After that, BC minus PB. BC small minus big will give you negative answer. So that will be equal to minus PC, right? So minus PC will be shifted on the left hand side, will become plus PC is equal to 0, as we are doing in case of simple equations. So 2PC will be equal to 0. Finally, PC will be equal to 0. So what we are getting in the last, according to our supposition, we are getting the part PC that is equal to 0. It means there is no length of PC. No length of PC means P and C both are the same points which are overlapping each other, which are coinciding each other. If the 2 points are coinciding each other, then it means that is the same point, and we cannot give the different name to the same point. So it means there is no point C P here on the line segment AP. So therefore C is the only midpoint of the line segment. Clearly? So in short, we have written here, which is only possible when P and C coincide. ठीक है, अगर एक के ऊपर एक आएंगे, then only this is possible. Therefore there is no point P. वहाँ P point कोई हो ही नहीं है ही नहीं. It means our supposition is wrong. So hence every line segment has only one midpoint. Clear? So this is the proof for question number 5. Then come to your question number 6. So let's have a look on the statement of question number 6 over here. In figure 5.10, this is the figure. AC is equal to BD. AC is equal to DB. This one. Okay. Prove that AB is equal to CD. So it's very simple. Both line segment, they are having one common part, that is BC. So what we will do, we will subtract BC from both hand side, and finally you will get your answer. So let's see how it has been solved. So it is written here, given that AC is equal to BD, AC is equal to BD. So here we have done with some another method. AC can be written as AB plus BC. So AC is made up of AB plus BC. So we have written here. So BD is made up of BC and CD. So you can see here BC plus CD. So out of that, BC is same. You can cancel out, and finally you are getting AB is equal to BD. Okay. So this is what BC will be cancelled out, and you will get here CD. This is AB is equal to CD. Finally, you are getting here AB is equal to CD. So then come to our last question of the exercise number 7. Why is axiom 5 in the list of Euclid axiom considered a universal truth? The question is not about the fifth postulate. Okay, why is axiom 5? They have said that this question is not regarding the fifth postulate, this is regarding fifth axiom specially. So what remember about that fifth axiom, why that is taken as the universal truth, why that is taken as the universal truth? Because as we all know, the whole is always greater than the part. So it is always true for anything in any part of the universe. This is always true for anything in any part of the universe. Anything means, if you are talking about the two if you are talking about a stick, wooden stick, if you will break it from anywhere, then the two parts that you have got will be definitely smaller than the original part, right? And in the theory part, when we were discussing, if you cut the cake in two parts, two unequal parts, then definitely that two unequal parts will be smaller than the whole cake. Okay, so this axiom is applicable for each and everything in the universe. Clear? Then this is all about your exercise 5.2, and let's start the discussion on exercise 5.2, that is the last one, and there are only two questions. Okay, so how would you rewrite the Euclid's fifth postulate so that it would be easier to understand? Okay, the two equivalent version of the Euclid's fifth postulate are: for every line, it is written here, for every line L and for every point P not lying on L, there exists a unique line M passing through P and parallel to L. Clear? So these are the two forms which are given in the simplest form. So that is the way that how you can write down the fifth postulate in the simple language. Okay, so this is the writing work only. You may write down, you may note down in your notebooks and try to learn it. Okay, and we have already discussed about the postulate number 5, we have explained also, and even I hope you have understood also. If you have understood that postulate, then this is very simple for you people to understand this language. Okay, because this is the simple language we have given over here. Okay, then come to the second one. Does Euclid fifth postulate imply the existence of parallel lines? Explain. Yes, definitely. There in the fifth postulate, we were talking about the angles on the same side of transversal. So if those two angles are going to make a sum of 180-degree, or you can say two right angles, then what will happen? That lines will become the parallel lines, so they will never intersect. So what was the fifth postulate? It was stating that the two lines will intersect on that side, on that side, at which side the sum of the two angle is less than two right angles. Okay, now what they are saying in this question, if we are making the sum of two angles is equal to 180, or you can say two right angles, then according to the Euclid's postulate, the two lines will never intersect. Okay, when to intersect कब होंगी? जब सम दोनों एंगल्स का लेस देन टू राइट एंगल्स होगा, मीन टू से लेस देन 180 होगा। और ये बोल रहे हैं कि अगर उसका सम 180 के बराबर हो जाए, देन व्हाट इट बिकम्स को इंटीरियर एंगल्स, इट मींस पैरेलल लाइंस विल बी देयर। सो पैरेलल लाइंस की एग्जिस्टेंस जो है आपकी फिफ्थ पोस्टुलेट से पॉसिबल हो जाती है इन सम स्पेशल कंडीशन। ओके, so this is all about your chapter number 5. Try to learn the terms, definition, postulates, axioms, and make the notes. Try to understand. Okay, so let's take the screenshot for the topics that we have done today. So you may start from the here. Question number 5 and 6, they are very simple. You can do yourself in one attempt only. Simplest question. Many times maybe we have done in the previous classes also. So take the screenshot for the next page also, the last one, right? So this is all about the chapter number 5. I hope you have understood, and next time we will be present here with you people with a new chapter. Okay, till then try to complete this chapter number 5 and try to understand it properly. Okay, thanks for watching the video. See you next time.